What's up guys, my name is Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 PvE primaries in Destiny 2. Similar to many of my top 5 videos in the past, this video was based on a lot of different things to rank the different weapons. I have to say, more than the previous ones, this one was based on a lot of my opinion. As far as Destiny 2 goes, I am a PvE hound. I go for PvE stuff all the time. I do raids, I do nightfalls, I do all those milestones. I try to stay away from Crucible a little bit, but I would say in PvE, as far as killing ads and doing raids and being comfortable at different distances and different weapon types, that is what I like doing the best. So a lot of this is based on my own opinion, as well as just a direct comparison and kind of a little bit of logic. So of course, take this with a grain of salt. This is obviously going to be mostly my opinion, and if you have your own recommendations, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know what other weapons that I'm missing out on and why it is that that weapon is so amazing. Today's video has been brought to you by cute and adorable kittens. To be honest, there's really not much more to say about this. Certain kittens are cuter than other kittens, but cute kittens are always cute. So in this video, you get your nice dose of cute and adorable kittens, and I gotta say, oh, they're adorable. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this top 5, starting at number 5. And the number 5 weapon in the top 5 weapons for PvE is going to be the Ace of Spades exotic hand cannon. Now, this exotic hand cannon has been in the game since the release of Forsaken, and it is amazing in so many different ways. First off, it has an incredible range. It literally has the second highest range out of every hand cannon in the game, and that's second to the Sturm, which has nearly maxed out, only after the Catalyst, nearly maxed out range. And this is a 140 hand cannon and not a 110. On top of that, amazing perks including Memento Mori, where reloading after a kill loads the magazine with few extra damaging bullets that last literally until you use them, as well as the fact it also grants radar while aiming down sights. And on top of that, it also has another perk that has 2 traits in it, called Firefly. Precision kills with this weapon increase the reload speed and cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemies. So basically, it has 2 perks that both have 2 mini perks inside of them, so basically it has 4 perks that are just incredible. These are the 4 best perks that I could possibly imagine on a weapon like this. The only thing that this weapon is missing is honestly explosive rounds, similar to the way Fatebringer had explosive rounds in Destiny 1. Now, I would say the only downside to this weapon, the only reason it's not like closer to the top like it was number 1 in my last top 5 for both PvE and PvP weapons, the only reason is because it is an exotic, and right now PvE is dominated by exotic heavy weapons. So if you're out there with anything other than an exotic heavy weapon, you're probably not getting the best loadout possible. You know, there are things like Whisper the Worm, Sleeper Simulant, and many different things that you could possibly have. Check out one of my previous top 5s for the heavy weapons in PvE. Pretty much all of them are exotic weapons with a few exceptions. However, I would say that this weapon is still incredible, and if you have not gotten it from the exotic quest line in Forsaken, I highly recommend you do. This thing is actually still amazing in almost every way. Anyways, moving on to number 4 in this top 5 list is going to be the legendary kinetic auto rifle known as Breakneck. Now, this is a very special weapon with a very special perk called Outlaw, and I gotta say this weapon is amazing at doing what it does. Now, to get this weapon, you firstly have to complete the quest from the Drifter. Just go to the Drifter, released with the Season of the Forge, complete this quest that has you do 40 games a Gambit, which should be the thing that takes the longest, and after doing so, claim it straight from your inventory and you'll be able to get this amazing weapon. Now, what makes this weapon so amazing, outside of the fact that it is a very usable 450 auto rifle, is its perks. Firstly, it's got extended mags, which you'll see in a bit why that's so important. Secondly, it's got Rampage, which is exactly what you want on a weapon like this. And lastly, it has a unique perk called Onslaught, where this weapon's fire rate increases as you stack Rampage. So not only are you getting more damage per bullet with Rampage, you're getting more fire rate with Onslaught. And on top of that, since your fire rate increases, you need that extended mag, which makes it a lot better. To be honest, a lot of people would probably put this weapon higher up on the list because of its perk being so unique, allowing it to do some incredible amounts of DPS, but I found that in the harder activities, auto rifles start to fall off and the hand cannons are a lot more preferred because you can just kind of pop a few shots off. You don't have to be extremely accurate with it, and it just seems a lot easier with hand cannons to be able to get those Rampage stacks going. And with this weapon, and as an auto rifle, once it gets really hard, you know, you're underleveled for a certain mission, or you're doing high level Nightfalls or Iron On or something else, it becomes more difficult to actually start getting kills. But once you do get kills, the thing absolutely rips and destroys, but to start getting those kills is a lot harder in my opinion, which is why it is at number 4 and probably not at number 2. Anyways, moving on to number 3 in this top 5 countdown is going to be the legendary kinetic pulse rifle known as Chattering Bone. And I gotta say, this is probably my favorite primary in the game for PvE and PvE. I would say, honestly, literally, If I were to have one weapon for both PvP and PvE, this weapon would be it. It is so useful in so many ways. It is easy to use, it has great perks on it, and also has a really good curated role. So anyways, first of all, you can get this weapon from the Last Wish raid. Any one of the chests, any one of the drop locations, as well as the final chest has a pretty good chance of giving you the curated role. Now this 450 pulse rifle's curated role is a light mag, kill clip, and high impact reserves, meaning you can get the faster reload and you can get the kill clip damage, which is exactly what you look for in most primary weapons. And on top of that, high impact reserves is also not a bad perk as well. Outside of that, outside of the curated role that is, you can also have a chance of getting rampage and outlaw. You can also do something fancy with the light mag and rampage and have like a rangefinder in the middle there. You can also do some nice stuff with ricochet round. And on top of that, this weapon also is a lightweight frame, which is something a lot of people overlook, is something very convenient in PvE. Being able to run faster means you'll be able to complete different objectives faster. You know, things like Midnight Coup, Chattering Bone, Spiteful Fang, these things are all lightweight and they're so comfortable to use because you can not only get through different areas quicker, get to the end of mission quicker, you can also escape enemies quicker, which is something very underrated that I very much like about this weapon. And the last thing I want to say about Chattering Bone is I know a lot of people will be arguing for the 390 pulse rifle, for example, like the Bygones. If I were to compare the Bygones directly with the Chattering Bone, I would see that the Bygones has better range, better stability, as well as a whole bunch of other stats are a little bit better in almost every single way or equal to the Chattering Bone. Now, keeping that in mind, the Chattering Bone also has a faster fire rate, so that is acceptable and that is understood as something that makes sense. However, I would say that that fire rate honestly makes the weapon more comfortable. Even though that its stability kicks a little bit more and the range isn't as good, I honestly feel better using this weapon. After missing a shot or part of a burst, I can get back on target and fire quicker than I could with a Bygone. So in my opinion, it's just a lot easier to use against smaller enemies, even in PvP. This weapon just feels nice. Coming up at number 2 in this top 5 countdown is going to be the legendary energy hand cannon known as Kindled Orchid. With Black Armory, this 140 hand cannon came in by storm. This weapon is so amazing in so many ways, but what sets this weapon away and sets it apart from all the other hand cannons in the game is the fact that it can have kill clip plus rampage at the same time. No other weapon, well, I guess not no other weapon. There's that one scout rifle in the raid, but not very many other weapons in the entire game can have kill clip and rampage at the same time. And on top of that, 140 hand cannons have become somewhat preferred, and to have it on a weapon like this is absolutely mind-blowing. This weapon is incredible, and on top of that, the curated version of this weapon also has drop mag. In my opinion, probably one of the best reload perks. It decreases the reload by such a significant margin, which is exactly what you want to combine it with those damage perks. Outside of the curated role, this weapon can also have things like kill clip plus explosive rounds, it can have outlaw plus rampage, it can have surrounded plus rampage, it can have so many amazing things on it. I highly recommend you go and try to get a very decent, at very least a decent role in this weapon, because there are so many different opportunities for this weapon to be absolutely amazing. To be honest, there's really not much more to say about this weapon. Having kill clip and rampage gives it unlimited potential for increasing its amount of damage. You know, for example, rampage can give you up to like 66% more damage, kill clip 40% more damage. This weapon does incredible amounts of damage, and on top of that, also drop mag is just so very amazing. And the last thing I would say about it is that its recoil is extremely predictable. It has a 99 recoil direction. Not a lot of weapons in this game can say that. This weapon is very easy to control and very easy to get on target. The only thing that this weapon lacks is probably going to be its range. However, with so many damage perks, it kind of has a artificially higher range. And without further ado, let's talk about the #1 weapon in Destiny 2 right now. Now, many of you might be a little surprised that I put this weapon so high, but I have to say the #1 weapon in Destiny 2 in the PvE category for primary weapon has to be the legendary kinetic hand cannon known as Midnight Coup. Now, stop. I know what you're thinking. Whoa, Midnight Coup, a non-Forsaken, non-Black Armory weapon. How can this weapon be so high on the list? I understand. I understand it only has 3 perk columns. It does not have 4. I understand you can't put a mod on it like Rampage spec. I understand that it is from before. Why am I talking about it now? And I've got to say, I don't really know. I just know that this weapon is just so good to use. Its aim assistant is so very nice. Its ability to stay on target is so nice. Its faster fire rate at 150. The fact that there is no competing 150 in the game with the ability to have Outlaw plus Rampage on it. There is one 150. Waking Vigil, it can have at best, I think, Dragonfly. No damage perks at all outside of that. So this weapon is the only 150 in the game right now that can actually have Rampage on it. And I gotta say, It's amazing. There's so many reasons why it's amazing. Firstly, lightweight frame. I mentioned the Chattering Bone has lightweight frame, meaning you can run faster and run around and escape enemies and get through locations faster. Secondly, it is 150, meaning it fires a little bit faster than the 140s and can still probably one-shot headshot the same enemies that a 140 can, outside of the kindled orchid with its double damage perks. And on top of that, the perks: Outlaw for faster reload and Rampage for the damage perk. Exactly what you want in a hand cannon, or any primary in general, is having a good damage perk and having a good reload perk to make that damage perk last for as long as possible. Honestly, this weapon is incredible. To be honest, there's really not much more to say about this weapon. You can get it from the Leviathan. Just do the Leviathan enough times until you get it to drop, or obviously do the Leviathan on the week that Benedict is selling this weapon, which he does sell it. Very infrequently, but he does sell it. And honestly, there's really not much more to say about this weapon. It's very, very effective at doing what it does. You can kill lots of enemies very quickly. It has a large magazine. It's a 150 rounds per minute, so it fires a little faster than you're probably used to with the 140s. It's got great aim assistance, good recoil direction. This weapon, it's fantastic. I recommend you go back to it if you haven't used it in a while. It works wonders. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of the video for you guys today. On screen now, you'll see all of the things that I had considered. Now, obviously not every cell is filled out, but this is kind of my list that I've been going off of. As far as honorable mentions go, if you're looking for a good 450 auto rifle, or just auto rifles in general outside of the breakneck, before getting to the breakneck, Tiger Spite and Ringing Nail are often very good 450 auto rifles, good range, good stability. Next up, honorable mention to the Go Figure / Blast Furnace, with the emphasis on the Blast Furnace. The 450 4-burst pulse rifles are often very finicky, but I found the Blast Furnace to be really, really nice if you have some interesting perks. Mine has, for example, Snapshot plus Head Seeker with a little bit of extra damage and a little bit easier use. After using it enough times, you'll be able to feel comfortable with it. And finally, the Nations of Beast hand cannon, 140 RPM, has the curated role of the Outlaw plus Dragonfly, which makes it very similar to the Fatebringer and is a good arc alternative to the kindled orchid in the arc slot. But anyways, that's the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name is Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.